My mother. In law covered for my husband's affair, until I caught them together. On our wedding anniversary. I found out my husband was cheating on our 7th wedding anniversary. But that's not the worst part. The worst part is that his mother knew the entire time, and helped him hide it. I need to write this down because I'm losing my mind. Because every time I close my eyes, I see them together at that restaurant. Because my lawyer says, documenting everything will help with the divorce. Because maybe if I get this out, I can finally breathe without feeling like I'm drowning. My name is Rachel, I'm 34. And I destroyed my own, by trusting the wrong people. Let me start at the beginning. 'Cause the betrayal didn't start on our anniversary. It started way before that. And I was 2 to see it. I met Marcus 8 years ago at a corporate mixer. He was charming, successful, and treated me like I was the only woman in the room. We got engaged after a year, married 6 months later. His mother, Patricia, seemed thrilled. She hugged me at our engagement party and whispered, "I always wanted a daughter." I actually cried. I thought I'd won the lottery, found this perfect family to belong to. My own parents died in a car accident when I was 23, so Patricia's acceptance meant everything to me. She became the mother I'd lost. We had lunch dates every Thursday. She taught me her recipes. She taught my hand through 2 miscarriages and told me we'd get through it together. What a joke that was. The first reel appeared about 6 months ago. But I convinced I was being paranoid. Marcus started working late 3, sometimes 4 nights a week. He'd come home smelling like perfume that wasn't mine, but he always had an explanation. Client dinner. Networking event. His assistant wore too much fragrance and hugged him goodbye. I believed him because I loved him. Because we were trying for a baby again. Because his mother kept telling me how lucky I was to have such a dedicated husband. Patricia would text me on those late nights. "Don't worry, honey. Marcus is just working hard for future. That's what good men do." She'd invite me over for dinner, so I wouldn't be alone. She'd show me photos of Marcus as a little boy, and tell me stories about what a loyal, honest child he'd been. She was running interference. I see that now. The Thursday before our anniversary, Patricia and I had our usual lunch. I remember, I'd planned something special for Saturday. Our actual anniversary day. A surprise dinner at Marcello's, the Italian place, where Marcus proposed. I'd made reservations months in advance, because it's impossible to get a table there. She got this weird look on her face. Just for a second. Then she smiled and said, "That sounds lovely, dear. I'm sure he'll be surprised." Surprised. That word keeps echoing in my head. That night, Marcus told me he might have to work late on Saturday. A major client presentation got moved. He seemed genuinely upset about it. Kept apologizing. Said he'd make it to me Sunday. I told him it was fine. I told him I understood. I rescheduled our reservation for Sunday night instead. But something felt wrong. That look on Patricia's face kept nagging at me. The way Marcus had been so quick with his excuse, like he'd rehearsed it. Friday night, I did something I'd never done before. I checked his phone while he was in the shower. I found nothing. His messages were clean. His call log was normal. I felt like garbage for even looking. I actually apologized to his phone, like I'd something sacred. Saturday morning, our anniversary, Marcus me goodbye, and said he'd try to be home by 9. He was wearing the cologne I bought him for Christmas. He looked so handsome in his charcoal suit. He told me he loved me. I told him I loved him too. He walked out the door, and I decided I wasn't going to spend our anniversary alone, feeling sorry for. I called my friend Jen, and asked if she wanted to grab dinner. She suggested Marcello's, coincidentally. I laughed and said why not? I'd already canceled our reservation there anyway. We got there around 7. The place was packed like always. Romantic lighting, violin music playing softly, couples holding hands across white tablecloths. Jen and I were waiting at the bar for our table when I saw her. Patricia. She was walking toward the back of the restaurant. Dressed in a navy dress I'd never seen before. She looked nervous, kept glancing around. My first thought was that she was meeting someone for a date. I was actually happy for her. Marcus's dad died 3 years ago, and she'd been alone since. I started to wave, to call out to her. Then I saw who she was walking toward. Marcus, my husband. sitting in a corner booth. With a woman. A beautiful woman with long dark hair. Wearing a red dress that probably cost more than my car payment. She was laughing at something Marcus said, her hand on his arm. He was leaning in close, that smile on his face. The smile he used to give me. Patricia slid into the booth next to the woman. They were all laughing now. One big happy now. The floor disappeared beneath my feet. Jen grabbed my arm. Rachel. Rachel. Arc like we're going to pass out. I couldn't speak. I just pointed. Jen saw them. Oh my God. Oh my God, Rachel, is that his mother? I whispered. That's his mother. The hostess called our name for our table. Neither of us moved. I watched Marcus reach across the table and take. I watched Patricia smile and pat the woman's shoulder affectionately. Like she was already part of the family. Like she'd replaced me before I even knew I'd been erased. 7 years. 7 years of marriage. 7 years of Thursday lunches with Patricia. 7 years of believing I'd finally found a home after losing my parents. All of it was a lie. Jen pulled out her phone. I'm taking pictures. Or going to remember telling my legs to move. But suddenly I was walking toward their table. The violin music got louder in my ears. The room tilted sideways. People's faces blurred as I passed them. Marcus saw me first. The color drained from his face so fast he looked like a ghost. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. Patricia turned. When she saw me, she didn't look surprised. She looked caught. Guilty. Almost relieved that she didn't have to keep pretending anymore. The woman in red just looked confused. I stopped at their table. My hands were shaking so hard I had to clench them into fists. Happy anniversary. I heard say. My voice sounded strange, disconnected from my body. Surprise. Marcus stood so fast he knocked over his glass. Red liquid spread across the white tablecloth like. Rachel. I can explain. Can explain. The laugh that came out of me didn't sound human. Can explain why having dinner with another woman on our wedding anniversary, while mother plays chaperone. Other diners were starting to stare. I didn't care. Patricia reached for my hand. I away like she'd burned me. Don't dare touch me. Don't dare. Tears were streaming down my face now. How long have known? She pressed her lips together. Silent. I turned to the woman in red. She looked younger than me. Mid-20s maybe. Pretty in a way that made my stomach. Do know he's married? She glanced at Marcus, then back at me. He told me two were separated, that the divorce was almost final. The room spun. We're not separated, I said. We're live together. We share a bed. This morning he told me he loved me. Her face went white. She grabbed her purse and stood. I didn't know. I swear I didn't know. She practically ran out of the restaurant. Marcus reached for me. Rachel, please. Don't. I stepped back. Don't step back. Don't say my name. It's not what think. He said desperately. She doesn't mean anything. It was a mistake. I was going to end it. On our anniversary. My voice broke. We're going to end it on our anniversary while mother watched. Patricia finally spoke. Rachel. Honey. If just calm down and let us explain. Calm down. I laughed again, that horrible broken sound. Called me honey. Have been calling me honey for years while helping son cheat on me. Had lunch with me 3 days ago. Looked at me across that table and smiled and lied to my face. I was protecting my son. She said quietly. Those words. Those 5 words broke something in me that I don't think will ever heal. Lost my mother. I whispered. I lost both my parents, and knew that. Knew how much meant to me. Let me believe I had a family again. Patricia's eyes filled with tears. But I felt nothing watching her cry. How long? I asked again. How long has he been cheating? She glanced at Marcus. He looked at the floor. How long? I screamed at this time. The entire restaurant went silent. 8 months. Marcus said finally. 8 months. While I was planning our anniversary. While I was taking fertility medications trying to give him a child. While I was having Thursday lunches with his mother. Pouring my heart out about how grateful I was for their family. I pulled off my wedding ring. It felt like ripping off a piece of my skin. I set it down in the middle of the table, right in the pooled. Keep it. I said. Or give it to her. I don't care. I turned and walked out of that restaurant with my head high, and my world in pieces. Jen was waiting by the door with her car keys already out. I called us an Uber. Come on. We made it to the curb before my legs gave out completely. I collapsed onto the sidewalk in my nice dress, the one I'd worn hoping to feel pretty on my anniversary, and I sobbed. Not gentle crying. Gasping, can't breathe sobs that my ribs. My phone started ringing. Marcus, I declined the call, it rang again. Patricia, I declined again. Marcus, Jen took my phone and turned it off. Not tonight. Tonight we go to my place, we drink, and we let fall apart. Tomorrow we call a lawyer. But tonight, get to break. So I did. I broke completely. Because the man I loved had been lying to me for 8 months. Because the woman I'd adopted as my mother had helped him do it. Because I'd been so desperate for a family after losing mine that I'd ignored every red flag, convinced every excuse was real. Because I was alone again. And this time it was somehow worse than losing my parents. At least they didn't decide to leave me. Marcus and Patricia chose this. They chose to betray me together. Mother and son, united in destroying me. The Uber arrived. Jen helped me to my feet and into the car. Through the window, I saw Marcus running out of the restaurant. He was shouting something, waving his arms. I closed my eyes and didn't look back. That was 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks since my anniversary. 3 weeks since the last time I felt like a whole person. I haven't spoken to Marcus except through lawyers. He sent 247 texts. I counted. They started with, "Please let me explain," and have gradually escalated to, "We're overreacting," and, "We can fix this." Patricia has left 19 voicemails. I've listened to exactly one. She cried through the whole thing. Said she was sorry. She was just trying to protect her family. Like I wasn't family. Like I never was. I'm staying with Jen. I can't go back to the house yet. Our house. The one we bought together 3 years ago. The one where I'd imagined raising children. The one where I'd been so unbearably happy. While he was building a whole other behind my back. My lawyer says I have a strong case for the divorce. The photos Jen took will help. Patricia's involvement might actually work in my favor. Because it shows premeditation, calculation. They weren't just hiding an affair. They were actively working together to deceive me. I should feel vindicated. I should feel powerful knowing I caught them. Knowing I have evidence. Knowing I'll probably get the house in the settlement. Instead, I feel hollow. I keep thinking about all the moments I missed. All the signs I explained away because I trusted them. Because I loved them. Because I was so desperate to have a mother again, that I let Patricia's validation blind me to what she really was. I think about the woman in red. How young she looked. How confused. Marcus told her we were divorced. He was already erasing me from his, preparing his next chapter while I was still living in our old one. I wonder if there were others before her. If the 8 months Patricia admitted to was even the truth. Or just the affair she couldn't deny anymore. I wonder if anything about our marriage was real. Last night I dreamed about my wedding day. Patricia was in the front row, crying happy tears. She'd helped me get ready that morning, fixed my veil. Told me I looked beautiful. She'd held both my hands before I walked down the aisle and said, "Welcome to our family, daughter." I woke with my face wet and Jen's cat staring at me in the dark. Here's what I know now, I didn't just lose a husband. I lost a family. I lost every Thursday lunch, every recipe Patricia taught me, every holiday and birthday and ordinary Tuesday that felt like I belonged somewhere again. I lost the future I'd planned. The children I'd imagined. The grandmother Patricia would have been to them. And the cruelest part. They took it all from me together. As a team, while smiling to my face. Tomorrow I have to go back to house to get more of my things. Marcus won't be there. My lawyer arranged it. But the house will be there, full of our together. The photos on the walls. The couch we picked out together. The kitchen, where Patricia taught me to make Marcus's favorite lasagna. I don't know how to walk through those rooms without falling apart again. I don't know how to be Rachel anymore. The Rachel I was died on that restaurant 3 weeks ago, drowned in spilled and broken promises. This new Rachel is someone I don't recognize. Someone bitter and suspicious. Someone who sees betrayal in every kind word, manipulation in every smile. Someone who is completely, devastatingly alone. Going back to the house was worse than I imagined. Jen offered to come with me, but I told her no. Some kinds of pain have to face alone. Besides, she'd already done so much. Letting me crash in her spare room, holding my hair back when I from crying too hard. Screening my calls from Marcus and Patricia. My lawyer confirmed Marcus would be gone from noon to 3. 3 hours to pack 7 years of my. 3 hours to walk through rooms that used to feel like home, and now feel like crime scenes. I pulled into the driveway at 12,003. The house looked exactly the same. White shutters, blue door, the little garden I'd planted last spring. Roses and lavender. I'd spent hours on my knees in that dirt. Planning which flowers would bloom when. Imagining future summers with children playing in the yard. The key stuck in the lock like it always did. I had to jiggle it twice. That familiar motion made me want to scream. Inside everything was too normal. Marcus's shoes by the door. The throw blanket I'd bought folded over the couch. The wedding photo on the mantel. Both of us smiling like we'd won the lottery. Patricia stood beside us in that picture, one hand on each of our shoulders. I'd paid extra to have her included in our formal portraits. I wanted her in every important photo because she was family. I grabbed that frame first and it in the trash. The glass shattered. Good. The living room felt staged. Like Marcus had cleaned before I came. No dishes left out, no clutter. Trying to look like the responsible husband. The thought made me sick. I started in the bedroom because I wanted to get it over with. Our bed. Sat there innocently. The blue comforter I'd picked out pulled tight. How many times had he come home from seeing her, and climbed into that bed? Next to me. How many times had he me with lies still on his lips? My hands shook as I pulled clothes from the closet. I was shoving things into suitcases randomly, not folding, not caring. A blouse I'd worn to our anniversary dinner last year. The dress I'd worn when we bought this house. The pajamas I'd been wearing that Saturday morning when he'd me goodbye and driven straight to another woman. That's when I found it. A shoebox on his closet shelf. Not our closet, his side. Pushed back behind his winter sweaters. Where I never looked, because I never had a reason to look. I should have left it alone. I should have kept packing and walked away. I pulled it down. Inside were receipts. Dozens of them. Dinner at restaurants I'd never been to. Hotels I didn't recognize. A jewelry store receipt from 5 months ago for a diamond pendant, $3,400. I'd never received a diamond pendant. There were printed emails too. Travel confirmations. A weekend in Charleston in March when he'd told me he was at a conference. He'd told me from the hotel room, and I'd heard traffic in the background. Just stepped outside for some air, he'd said. I'd believed him. Underneath the receipts was a card. Pink envelope, flowery writing on the front. To my love. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely open it. The handwriting inside was feminine, looping. Thank for the most perfect weekend. I can't wait until we don't have to hide anymore. I love more than I knew was possible. Forever yours. AA. Not the woman from the restaurant. Someone else. There were more cards. 6 of them, spanning months. Different handwriting in 2 of them. Different names signed at the bottom. Another just signed with a lipstick kiss. I sat down the bedroom, floor, surrounded by evidence of betrayals I hadn't even known about. The woman in the red dress wasn't the first. Wasn't even the second. My phone buzzed. A text from my lawyer. How's it going? Do need anything? I texted back with shaking fingers. Found evidence of multiple affairs. Taking photos of everything. Her response came immediately. Thing. Document EVRYHING. Bag it all. This changes the divorce significantly. I started photographing. Every receipt, every card, every hotel confirmation. My phone camera clicked over and over, capturing the architecture in the husband's betrayal. Then I called Jen. She answered on the first ring. Ratch. What's wrong? It wasn't just one woman, I said. My voice sounded dead. There were others, multiple. The cards, the receipts, it goes back at least a year. Maybe longer. Silence. Then, I'm coming over. No, I'm almost done here. But Jen. My voice cracked. What if I gave him something? What if he gave me something? I heard her sharp intake of breath. She understood immediately. When's the last time got tested? My annual appointment. January. 10 months ago. Before most of these receipts. Okay, we're making a doctor's appointment today. Right now. I'm calling. I used to think the worst part was the lying. Worst part. But it's not. The worst part is realizing I never knew him at all. The man I married doesn't exist. He never did. Pack faster. Jen said. Get out of there. We'll deal with the rest later. But I couldn't move yet. I sat on that bedroom floor, holding evidence of my own stupidity. And I started remembering things differently. The weekend in Charleston. I'd been so proud of him for speaking at that conference. I'd texted Patricia about it. Son is doing such amazing things with his career. She'd responded with a heart emoji. She knew. She knew he was in Charleston with another woman, while I was texting her about how proud I was. The diamond pendant. I'd noticed he seemed nervous around Valentine's Day, that year. Distracted. He'd given me roses, and a nice dinner out. I'd thought he was stressed about work. He'd actually been panicking about which woman to give $3,400 worth of diamonds to. The late nights. God. The late nights. How many of those client dinners were actually hotel rooms with women whose names I'd never know? I'd been taking fertility medications. Pumping my body full of hormones, hoping to give him a child. Going to appointments alone, because he was too busy at work. Crying after negative pregnancy tests, while he held me, and promised we'd keep trying. He'd been sleeping with multiple other women, while I was trying to have his baby. The rage that hit me then was physical. I grabbed his pillow off the bed and ripped it. Feathers exploded everywhere, floating down like snow. I ripped the other one too. Then I swept my arm across his nightstand, sending his alarm clock and reading lamp crashing to the floor. It felt good. It felt necessary. I grabbed the box of evidence and my half-packed suitcases and walked out. I didn't close the bedroom door. I didn't turn off the lights. Let him come home to feathers and broken glass. And know that I knew everything. On my way out, I grabbed the wedding photo from the trash. Not to keep. I took it to the kitchen and found a black Sharpie in the junk drawer. I drew thick black X's through Marcus's face and Patricia's face. Then I wrote across the bottom, LIARS. I propped it back a manto where he'd see it the second he walked in. My phone rang as I was loading my car. Patricia. For 3 weeks I'd ignored her calls. But standing in that driveway, holding a box of evidence that she'd probably known about, I answered. Rachel. Oh, thank God. She sounded relieved. I've been so worried. How many were there? I her off. Silence. How many women did help him hide from me, Patricia? Because I found the box. The receipts, the cards, the hotel confirmations. I found all of it. Rachel. I don't know what talking about. Don't. My voice was ice. Don't lie to me anymore. I've done enough of that. I heard her breathing on the other end. Then, quietly. I'm his mother. What was I supposed to do? That answer. That pathetic, self-serving answer broke the last piece of respect I had for her. We're supposed to be mine too, I said. Called me daughter. Held my hand through miscarriages. We're the only mother I had left in this world. And used that to help him destroy me. I never wanted me to not KO I was being. There's a difference. I was crying now. Angry tears streaming down my face. Did know about all of them. Did meet them. Did have lunch with them too. Help Marcus figure out which lies would work best. It wasn't like that. The woman at the restaurant looked young enough to be my little sister. How old was she, Patricia? 25, 26, did that bother at all? Did think for even a second about me sitting at home alone while all played happy family? She's 27. Patricia said quietly. Her name Nesha said quietly. She works at Marcus's company. He really cares about her. The casual way she said it. Like she was introducing me to a friend's new girlfriend. Made me want to drive my car through the front of the house. I hope she makes a better daughter than I did. I said. I hope she's worth what gave. Because her never speaking to me again. Dead to me. Just like my husband is dead to me. Just like this whole family is dead to me. Rachel, please. I hung. Then I blocked her number, Marcus's number, and everyone else in his family. His sister who'd been in our wedding. His brother, who'd helped us move into this house. Every single person who'd probably known or suspected, and said nothing. I drove to Jen's in a daze. She was waiting on her porch, phone in hand. I got an appointment. She said immediately. 4 o'clock. Full STI panel. The doctor's squeezing in as an emergency. Emergency. I laughed bitterly. That's what my is now. A medical emergency. Come inside. I made tea. I followed her in, set the box of evidence on her kitchen table. She started going through it, her face getting darker with each piece she examined. This one's from 14 months ago, she said, holding a hotel receipt. Rachel. The woman at the restaurant. Ashley, she's not even the longest relationship. Look at these cards from A. They span 7 months. 7 months, the 7 else while married to me. While sleeping in our bed, while kissing me goodbye every morning. I need to get tested for more than STS. I said quietly. I need to get tested for brain damage because something had to be wrong with me to miss all of this. Don't. Jen's voice was sharp. Don't dare blame for trusting husband. That's what marriage is supposed to be. Trust. He's the one who broke it. Him and his horrible mother. My phone buzzed. An email from my lawyer. Got photos. This is even better documentation than we hoped for. He'll be lucky to walk away with anything. I'll start drafting a revised settlement proposal. Better. This was better for my case. The systematic destruction of my was legally advantageous. I found cards from at least 3 different women. I told Jen. Hotel receipts going back over a year. He was living a completely separate, and I never knew. Because he's a sociopath. Jen said flatly. Normal people can't lie like that. Can't come home and kiss their wife after spending the weekend with someone else. That's not regular cheating, Rachel. That's pathological. She was right. I'd been married to a stranger. Someone who could compartmentalize so completely that he never slipped. Never showed guilt. Never gave me a real reason to doubt him. The scariest part. If I hadn't gone to that restaurant that night. If I hadn't seen him with my own eyes. He'd still be doing it. He'd still be kissing me goodbye and driving to hotel rooms. Still be letting me cry over negative pregnancy tests, while he slept with other women. How long would it have gone on? Until I actually got pregnant. Until I asked too old to leave easily. Until he'd drained our accounts and disappeared with one of them. At the doctor's, I said suddenly. What if something comes back positive? What if he gave me something that can't be cured? Jen reached across the table and grabbed my hand. Then we deal with it. Then we add it to the lawsuit and we bury him. But Rachel, most things are treatable now. We're going to be okay. Am I? I looked at her. Because I don't feel like I'm ever going to be okay again. I feel like I'm going to be this broken, paranoid person forever. How do I ever trust anyone after this? She didn't have an answer for that. We sat in silence until it was time for my appointment. The doctor's office was sterile and cold. The nurse who took my didn't ask why I needed the tests. She'd probably seen this before. The devastated wife. The urgent appointment. The fear underneath every question. Results in 3 to 5 business days. The doctor said. We'll call either way. Try not to worry in the meantime. Try not to worry. Like I could think about anything else. I drove back to Jen's and found Marcus sitting on her porch steps. My whole body went cold. Need to leave. Jen said immediately, step in between us. Now. Or I'm calling the police. I just want to talk to Rachel. He looked awful. Dark circles under his eyes, wrinkled shirt. Please, Rach. 5 minutes. Don't call me that. I stayed by my car, hand on the door handle. Don't get to call me that anymore. I love. His voice broke. I know, don't believe me, but I do. I've always loved. The others, they didn't mean anything. Stop. I held my hand. I found box, Marcus. I know about all of them. Ashley, whoever else's cards weren't in there. I know about Charleston. I know about the diamond pendant. I know you've been systematically cheating on me for at least a year. Probably longer. His face went pale. Went through my things. The audacity. The sheer audacity. I went through my house collecting my belongings. I said. And I found evidence that my husband is a serial cheater, who's been exposing me to God knows what while I was trying to have his baby. I always used protection. Well then, that makes it fine. I was screaming now. Used protection while sleeping with multiple women behind my back. What a thoughtful, considerate husband. Should I thank Rachel, please? He stood. Jen immediately moved closer to me. I made mistakes. I know I did, but we can fix this. Counseling, therapy, whatever want. Just don't give on us. There is no us. My voice was steady now, cold. There never was an us. There was me, living in reality, and there was living in whatever fantasy world, where get to have multiple lives at the same time. It was a rough patch. I panicked about turning 35, about the fertility issues. I didn't handle it well. I laughed. Had with other women. Multiple other women. For over a year. That's not handling it well. That's who are. I can change. I don't want to change. I was crying now. I want to never have done in the first place. I want to go back to January 2024 and warn. I want my back. I can give that. No, can't. Because that was based on a lie. Every moment of our marriage was contaminated by cheating. Every kiss. Every I love. Every plan we made for our future was happening. While we're building other futures with other women. He took a step toward me. Jen immediately stepped forward. That's close enough, Marcus. Another knew. I said quietly. About all of it. She helped. And let her lie to me, use my grief over my parents to keep me compliant and trusting. That's what hurts most of all. For the first time, he looked genuinely ashamed. I never asked her to. Didn't stop her either. Both used me. And now don't get to have me anymore. I pulled the divorce papers from my bag. My lawyer had sent them over this afternoon. Being served tomorrow. Officially. I suggest get a good lawyer, because mine is about to destroy. I dropped in on the porch and got in my car. Marcus ran to my window, banging on the glass. Rachel, please. I started the engine and backed out. The last thing I saw in my rearview mirror was him falling to his knees in Jen's driveway. My hole with him scattered in papers at his feet. I should have felt victorious. I should have felt powerful. Instead, I felt nothing at all. The test results came back negative. All of them, every single STI panel. Clean. I sat in Jen's kitchen, staring at the patient portal on my laptop. And instead of relief, I felt anger. Because somehow Marcus had gotten away with that too. He'd gambled with my health for over a year, and won. At least that's one thing, don't have to worry about. Jen said. Reading over my shoulder. But I did have to worry. I'd have to get tested again in 6 months, then again. Because some things don't show right away. Because even now, even after leaving him, his choices were still controlling my. That was 4 weeks ago. 8 weeks total since the restaurant. 8 weeks since my world ended. The divorce is moving forward. Fast. My lawyer says Marcus's lawyer is pushing for mediation, trying to settle quickly. That means he's scared, she told me. The evidence found is damning. He knows if we go to trial, he'll lose everything. Good. I want him to lose everything. I want him to feel a fraction of what he took from me. But it's not just Marcus I'm dealing with. It's the aftermath. The fallout. The way betrayal spreads like through every part of. 2 weeks ago. Marcus's sister Emily called me from a number I didn't have blocked. I answered thinking it was a work call. Rachel. Thank God. Please don't, I almost did anyway. What do you want, Emily? I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I didn't know. Marcus told everyone too we're having problems, that we're the one who wanted out. I had no idea he was. She paused. I had no idea. Did Patricia know didn't know? I asked. Or was she keeping secrets from two? Silence. Then, she told me last week, about helping Marcus. About knowing. I haven't spoken to her since. That makes 2 of us. He's falling apart, Emily said quietly. Marcus. He's lost weight, he's not sleeping. Mom's worried about him. The laugh that came out of me was. Patricia is worried about him. Her son. The one who's still alive and healthy and employed. She's worried about him. I know how that sounds. Do know how it sounds to hear that the woman who helped destroy my marriage is worried about the man who destroyed it, while nobody gives a single about what I'm going through. That's not fair. I care. Called to tell me Marcus is sad. That's why called. To make me feel guilty for not forgiving him fast enough. To soften me so he gets a better settlement. No. Rachel, I swear. I don't believe anyone in family anymore. All lie too easily. I hung and blocked her number 2. But her words stuck with me. Marcus was falling apart. Good. Let him fall. Let him feel what it's like when the ground disappears beneath feet. Except it doesn't make me feel better. Nothing makes me feel better. Work has been a nightmare. I've been taking projects from home, when I can. But eventually had to go back to the office. Face my coworkers. Pretend everything was fine while I was being dissected by lawyers. My boss, Sharon, called me into her office my second day back. I heard about it, Marcus, she said. I'm so sorry. Of course she'd hurry. Marcus and I worked in the same industry. Different companies, but lots of mutual connections. The story was probably everywhere by now. I said stiffly. If need time off, we can arrange it, or if need to adjust hours. I'm fine. I wasn't fine. I haven't been fine in weeks. But I needed work. Needed something to focus on that wasn't the smoking crater of my personal. Sharon looked uncomfortable. There's something else. Marcus has been calling the office 4 times this week, asking to speak with Bon. My went cold. He what? I've been having reception tell him we're unavailable. But Rachel, if he's harassing, need to document it. Maybe get a restraining order. A restraining order. Against my husband. Soon, to be ex-husband. The man who'd promised to love and cherish me. I'll talk to my lawyer, I said. That night I went through my phone records. Marcus had called me 89 times in 2 weeks. 89. I'd blocked his number. So they all went straight to voicemail. I'd deleted them, without listening to one. His voice was ragged, desperate. Rachel. Please. I know we're angry, have every right to be. But we can fix this. We can get through it. I'll do anything. Just talk to me. Please. I've always loved. The others were mistakes, they were nothing. Or everything. Please come home. I deleted it halfway through. The next one was angrier. Can't just throw away 7 years like this. Made vows too. For better or worse, remember. I made mistakes, but not even giving me a chance to make it right. That's not fair, Rachel. The audacity. The absolute audacity to talk to me about fairness. I forwarded all 89 calls to my lawyer with a note. As this. She responded within an hour. Yes. I'm filing for a protection order tomorrow. Do not engage with him under any circumstances. So now there's a protection order. Marcus has to stay 500 feet away from me. Can't call. Can't text. Can't show at my work. I should feel safer. Instead, I feel like I'm in witness protection, hiding from my own. The worst part isn't Marcus though. It's not even Patricia. It's everyone else. The people who don't know what to say. The friends who've started avoiding me. Because divorce is contagious. Like they might catch my bad luck. The acquaintances who ask how I'm doing with that head tilt. That sympathetic voice that makes me want to scream. Last week I ran into Sarah and Tom. A couple we used to have dinner with every month. I was at the grocery store. Just trying to buy cereal. And there were. Sarah saw me first. Her face did this complicated thing, sympathy mixed discomfort mixed with something else. Pity, maybe. Rachel. Oh my God, we heard. We've been meaning to call. But didn't. I said flatly. She flinched. We didn't know what to say. This is all so awful. It is. I agreed. It's very awful. Tom shifted uncomfortably. Is there anything we can do? Anything need? What I needed was for the last year to not have happened. What I needed was for my husband to have loved me the way I loved him. What I needed was for his mother to have been the mother she pretended to be. I'm fine, I lied. We should get dinner sometime, Sarah said. The 3 of us. When ready. The 3 of us, not the 4 of us. Marcus was already erased from their social equation. That fast. 7 years of friendship, of game nights and birthday parties, and New Year's Eve countdowns. And now he was gone like he'd never existed. Except he had existed, he'd sat at their table. He'd laughed at Tom's jokes. He'd been part of us. And the whole time, he'd been lying. To me, to them, to everyone. Sure, I said. I'll call. We both knew I wouldn't. I abandoned my cart and left the store. Sat in my car and cried over cereal I didn't buy because I'd run into friends I didn't want to see. This is my now. Crying in parking lots. Avoiding places I used to go. Flinching when I see couples holding hands, because once upon a time, that was me and Marcus, and I'd thought we were happy. Thought we were real. Yesterday I had to go back to the house again. More things to collect, more pieces of my old to pack and move out. Marcus wasn't there. The protection order guaranteed it. But his presence was everywhere anyway. He'd been living there alone for 8 weeks now. The place looked different. Emptier, obviously, with half my stuff gone. But also sadder somehow. Dishes in a sink. Mail piled on the counter. The roses in the garden I'd planted were dead. Brown and wilted from neglect. I walked through each room, like a ghost touring her own haunting. The kitchen where Patricia had taught me to make lasagna. The living room where Marcus and I had watched movies on Friday nights. The bedroom where we'd tried to make a baby, while he was apparently making time with other women. In the office, I found something I wasn't expecting. My fertility medication. The hormones I'd been taking for months. Still sitting in the desk drawer where I'd kept them. Are $400 a month for those shots. I'd given them to. Watched the bruises bloom on my stomach. Endured the mood swings, and hot flashes and desperate hope, all while Marcus was sleeping with women who weren't trying to have his baby. Who were probably on birth control. Who got to be young and carefree while I was pumping full of chemicals and disappointment. I the medications in the trash. Then I them harder. Heard the bottles. On his nightstand, I found a framed photo I hadn't seen before. Recent. Marcus and Patricia, arms around each other, both smiling. She was wearing the navy dress from the restaurant. The caption underneath read, "My best friend. His best friend. His partner in crime. His accomplice in destroying me." I took that photo too and smashed it against the wall. Glass everywhere. Good. Let him clean it. Let him come home to more broken things. In the closet, Marcus's suits hung neatly in a row. The charcoal one he'd worn that anniversary morning. I remembered thinking how handsome he looked. I remembered kissing him goodbye, believing I'd see him later that night. That we'd celebrate 7 years of marriage. What an I'd been. I pulled out my phone and took photos of everything. The messy house. The dead garden. The broken picture frame. Documentation for my lawyer, yes. But also proof that I wasn't crazy. That this had happened. That my had actually been this good once and then this destroyed. On my way out, I stopped at the mailbox. There was a letter addressed to me, forwarded from my old mailing address. The return label said, Anthea Designs. I didn't recognize the name. Inside was a handwritten note on expensive stationery. Mrs. Rachel Thornton, I don't know me. My name is Ashley Morrison. I'm the woman from the restaurant. I wanted to reach out because I owe an apology. Marcus told me we're divorced. He showed me papers. Told me the whole story about how'd grown apart, how it was all very amicable. I believed him completely. When I saw that night, when I realized he'd lied, I ended things immediately. I'm so sorry I was part of hurting. Deserve so much better. I hope find happiness. Sincerely Ashley. I read it 3 times. She'd ended things immediately. Good for her. She got to walk away clean, conscience only slightly bruised. Meanwhile, I was getting STI tests, and filing protection orders, and smashing picture frames, because I couldn't smash the people, who'd actually me. But there was something else in the envelope. A printed screenshot of text messages. Marcus's number. Messages to Ashley. My wife is crazy. She won't accept the divorce. She's making everything so difficult with the. Just want to move on with Bao. Patricia says Rachel's always been dramatic. Dated 3 days after the restaurant confrontation. He'd run straight to her. To young, pretty Ashley who didn't know any better. Told her I was the problem. That I was crazy and dramatic and difficult. And Patricia. Of course Patricia was involved. Still running interference. Still protecting her son from the consequences of his own choices. I forwarded the screenshots to my lawyer with shaking hands. Then I texted Ashley's number from the return address. Thank for this. Probably saved my settlement. And for what it's worth, Lucky got out when did. He would have done the same thing to eventually. She responded almost immediately. I know. I'm so sorry. For everything. We'd probably never speak again. We had nothing in common except having been lied to by the same man. But in that moment, I felt something almost like kinship with her. At least she'd gotten away after one night. I'd 7 years. The settlement talks are happening next week. My lawyer is confident we'll get the house, most of the savings, and a portion of his retirement accounts. Marcus's infidelity is so well documented that he has almost no leverage. He'll probably try to make feel guilty. She warned me. Try to negotiate for things that are rightfully yours. Don't let him. Hold the cards here. I hold all the cards. But I still feel like I've lost everything that mattered. Last night I dreamed about my parents. They were sitting at my wedding, watching me marry Marcus. In the dream, they stood and tried to warn me. They were shouting, gesturing, trying to stop the ceremony. But I couldn't hear them. I just kept walking down the aisle, smiling, while they screamed silent warnings I'd never receive. I woke gasping. My phone showed 3:47 a.m. Too early to be awake, too late to fall back asleep. I opened my blocked messages folder. The one where all of Marcus's calls and texts go to. There were 47 new messages. I read through them numbly. Most were variations on the same theme. He loved me. He was sorry. He'd do anything. I was being unreasonable. We could fix this. Well, why was I being so cruel? But one, sent at 20:13 a.m., was different. I saw at the house today. I was parked down the street. I know I'm not supposed to be near, but I needed to see. Looked so angry, I've never seen like that. Broke the picture of me and mom. I get why. But Rachel, looked terrible. Have been eating, sleeping. I'm worried about. I know me now, but I still love. That doesn't just stop. Please take care of. Even if never forgive me, please be okay. He'd been watching me, violating the protection order. Sitting in his car down the street from our house, watching me destroy his pictures and pack my. I should have been scared. Should have called the police, reported the. Instead, I just felt tired. Tired of being angry. Tired of crying. Tired of this consuming every moment of every day. Tired of being the wronged wife, the victim, the woman everyone pitied. I deleted all 47 messages without responding. Today is day 62 since the restaurant. 2 months and 1 day since I learned that my marriage was a lie. My mother-in-law was a conspirator, and my husband was a stranger. I'm still staying with Jen. Still sleeping in her guest room. Still using her shower. Still imposing on her and her space. She keeps saying I'm not imposing. But I see the way she hesitates before bringing men home. The way she's put her own on hold to manage mine. I'm going to start looking for an apartment. I told her this morning. She looked relieved, then guilty about being relieved. Can stay as long as need. I know. But I need my own space. I need to start rebuilding. Rebuilding. Like I'm a house that got knocked down in a storm. Like I can just hammer some new boards together and call it home. But what choice do I have? This is my now. I'm 34 years old, getting divorced, living out of suitcases, starting over from scratch, no husband, no mother-in-law, no family except Jen and a few friends who've stuck around while others quietly disappeared. No future children. No grandmother to teach them recipes. No family holidays or birthday parties or ordinary Tuesdays that feel like belonging. Just me. Alone. Again. The difference is, this time I chose to be alone. I walked out of that restaurant with my head high. I away my wedding ring. I'm fighting for what's mine in this divorce. But it doesn't feel empowering. It feels lonely. Yesterday I passed a woman at the coffee shop. She was about my age, wedding ring on her finger, pregnant belly swelling under her sweater. She was smiling at her phone, probably texting her husband. She looked happy. Secure. Like the world made sense to her. I used to be her. I used to believe in happy endings and faithful husbands-in-law, who loved. I used to think. If we're good enough, loyal enough, it'd be safe. Now I know better. Now I know that can do everything right and still lose. Can be faithful and committed and pour whole heart into a marriage. And it still won't be enough if chose wrong. If trusted wrong. If loved someone who was only pretending to love back. The settlement meeting is in 3 days. I'll sit across a table from Marcus and his lawyer, and we'll divide our lives like splitting a restaurant bill. The house goes to me. The car goes to him. The savings get split. The retirement accounts get calculated. None of it will give me back what I actually lost. My lawyer says we'll probably finalize everything within 6 weeks. By mid-November, I'll be officially divorced. Officially alone. Officially starting over. I should be planning what comes next. The apartment I'll rent. The I'll build. The person I'll become after this. But all I can think about is that woman in the red dress at the restaurant. How confused she looked. How young. Marcus told her we were divorced. He'd shown her papers, Ashley said. Divorce papers, apparently. He'd planned that far ahead. Constructed an entire false reality so he could start moving his girlfriends toward becoming his next wife. While I was still in the house. Still in his bed. Still wearing his ring. How long before he'd done the same thing to her that he did to me? How long before he'd found someone younger, prettier, easier? How long before she'd been standing in a restaurant, watching him with someone else, feeling the floor disappear beneath her feet? Because that's what men like Marcus do. They don't change. They just get better at lying. And women like Patricia enable it. Protect it. Help their sons destroy women enough to trust them. I think about that I can had if I'd never met Marcus. If I'd been at a different corporate mixer that night, 8 years ago. If I'd turned left, instead of right, and never seen his smile. Never heard his practiced charm. Never fallen for the fantasy he was selling. Maybe I'd be married to someone honest. Maybe I'd have kids by now. Maybe I'd still believe in love. Or maybe I'd have been over differently by someone else. Maybe this is just what happens. Trust people and they betray. Build and it gets demolished. Think you're safe and then one night walk into a restaurant and watch entire world end. Last night I couldn't sleep. I got around 2 a.m. and opened my laptop. Started typing into Google. How to trust again after infidelity. The results were useless. Articles about couples counseling and rebuilding after affairs. Videos about forgiveness and moving forward together. But I don't want to move forward with Marcus. I want to understand how to ever trust anyone again when the person I trusted most turned out to be a complete stranger. I want to understand how his mother looked me in the eye every Thursday for years and never flinched. Never cracked. Never gave me a single hint that she was helping him destroy me. I want to understand how I'm supposed to date again someday, when every man I meet might be another Marcus. Charming and attentive until I'm locked in. Then slowly building a separate, while I'm sleeping beside him believing we're happy. There's no article for that, no 5-step plan for becoming a person who can believe in loving. After learning that entire marriage was performance art, I closed the laptop and sat in the dark in Jen's kitchen, drinking water and watching the clock tick past 3 a.m. This is what betrayal does. It doesn't just break heart. It breaks ability to believe in anything good. It turns into someone suspicious and closed, often scared. Marcus did that to me. Marcus and Patricia together systematically dismantled my ability to trust. And the cruelest part, they probably don't even understand what they took from me. Marcus is probably wallowing in self-pity, playing the victim, telling anyone who'll listen that his wife won't forgive a few mistakes. Patricia is probably worried about her son, hoping he'll find happiness with someone new. Someone less dramatic than difficult Rachel. Neither of them is lying awake at 3 a.m. wondering if they'll ever be whole again. That's just me. The settlement meeting is tomorrow. I've picked out what I'll wear. Professional. Calm. Put together. I won't let Marcus see how destroyed I am. Won't give him the satisfaction. My lawyer says to stay quiet, let her do the talking. Don't engage emotionally. This is business now, she told me. Not personal. But how is it not personal, when the person across the table promised to love me forever, and then spent over a year systematically betraying me? How is it not personal when his mother will probably be there, sitting beside him, still choosing him over basic human decency? How is it not personal when I'm about to divide the I thought we'd together, piece by piece, until there's nothing left but paperwork and property division? I've been practicing what I'll say if Marcus tries to talk to me. Short, cold, final. Speak through the lawyers. That's it. Nothing more. But I'm terrified I'll see him and everything will come flooding back. The anger, the betrayal, the grief. The urge to scream at him, to make him understand what he's done. Or worse. The urge to forgive him, to believe his lies one more time, because it's easier than accepting that 7 years on someone who never really loved me at all. Jen says I'm stronger than I think. That I've already survived the worst of it. That tomorrow is just paperwork. Just business. Just the legal ending of something that emotionally ended 2 months ago. I hope she's right. But tonight, sitting here in her guest room at 11 p.m. the night before I officially divide my marriage, I don't feel strong. I feel like that woman in the restaurant again. The one watching her end in real time. The one whose legs gave out on the sidewalk. The one who sobbed so hard she couldn't breathe. I feel like I'm still falling and I haven't hit bottom yet. I just reread what I've written. All of it. From that first night to now. It reads like someone else's story. Like a cautionary tale about trusting the wrong people. Like a tragedy that happened to someone else. But it's mine. This is my ruined marriage. My broken family. My lonely future. And the most terrifying part. I still don't know how I missed it. How I slept beside a stranger for 7 years and never knew. How I had lunch with a woman every Thursday, who was actively helping destroy me, and never suspected. What else am I wrong about? What else in my is a carefully constructed lie that I'm too naive to see through? The settlement is tomorrow. After that, the divorce will be final within weeks. And then what? Then, I'm a 34-year-old divorced woman with trust issues and no family, and an apartment I haven't found yet. I'm someone who believed in love and learned the hard way that belief isn't enough. I'm someone who will probably never have kids now because my fertile years on a man who was never planning to be a father with me anyway. I'm someone who will flinch at every kind word from every future partner. Waiting for the betrayal that's surely coming. I'm someone whose own mother-in-law chose wrong. Chose her lying son over basic decency. Chose to be complicit rather than honest. That's who Marcus and Patricia turned me into. That's their legacy. And tomorrow I'll sit in that conference room and sign papers that make it all official. The end of us. The certificate for a marriage that was already I even knew it was dying. People keep telling me it'll get better. That time heals. That I'll move on and find someone better and build anew. That buildn't like to realize that 7 years of were a lie. They don't know what it's like to lose a husband and a mother on what it's like to look in the mirror and not recognize the suspicious, broken person staring back. Maybe it will get better eventually. Maybe years from now I'll be someone new. Someone who learned and grew and survived. But tonight, I'm just Rachel. Betrayed, devastated, utterly alone Rachel. Still trying to understand how the people I loved most turned out to be the people who me worst. Still trying to figure out how to be a person who believes in anything good again. The last thing I did tonight was unblock Patricia's number. Not to call her. Not to read her messages. Just to see if she was still trying. She wasn't. The last message was from 6 weeks ago. I'm sorry. I know that's not enough, but I am sorry. I hope someday can understand. Understand what? And she chose her son's happiness over my basic right to know I was being betrayed. That she valued his convenience over my humanity. There's nothing to understand. She made her choice. She chose him. She'll always choose him. Just like every future person I try to trust, might eventually choose someone else over me too. Because that's what I learned from Marcus and Patricia. That love is conditional. That loyalty is negotiable. That the people closest to are often the ones who most. I blocked her number again. This time for good. Tomorrow I'll walk into that conference room and end my marriage officially. I'll sign papers and divide assets and walk out legally single. But I'll still be broken. I'll still be the woman whose husband built a whole other behind her back, while his mother ran interference. I'll still be the woman who trusted wrong, loved wrong, believed wrong, and the saddest part. I'd give anything to go back to being the naive woman I was 2 months ago. The one who believed her husband loved her. The one who thought her mother-in-law was family. The one who still had hope. But that woman died in a restaurant. On what should have been her 7th anniversary. And I'm what's left.